Hello everyone and welcome to Visual Ed. Please subscribe, like and hit the notification bell to not miss out on new uploaded videos. Now in this video we will be working on NCS Mathematics Paper 1, March and February exam paper 2018. We will be focused on question 1.1 for this video. This video is part of a playlist that will be covering this entire paper, but every video will be dedicated to each question so that we can thoroughly cover that question and explain how we come to the answer. A reminder to read and follow all instructions carefully to not lose marks on your answers. You can always pause and rewind the video and stick around until the end of the and at the end of the video to learn how you can use your scientific calculator to solve this kind of a problem much faster. So grab your pen, pencil, book and a calculator and let's begin. The question that we have to solve is saying solve for x, and the given equation is x squared minus 6x minus 16 equals to 0. The equation given is in the standard form, is y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. Now the first thing to tackling this kind of question is to finding the factors of your c, or your constant variable in the given equation. So finding the factors, you have a general rule that you will follow, which states factors are numbers which their product is the term c and their sum or difference gives the b term of the equation. So identifying which one is our b term is minus 6 and our c term is minus 16. So we're going to find possible numbers that when you multiply them out give you minus 16. So let's see products. 8 times 2 gives you 16, 4 times 4 gives you 16, 16 times 1 also gives you 16. So those are the possible pair of vectors that we can use to kind of solve this problem. All right, and of course once you identify your vectors, the next thing you need to do, is to open your brackets and say equals to 0. Put x on both sides of your brackets, and then we move on to test which of the factors that we came up with are actually the ones that we can use, right? And how we're going to do that is we're going to either subtract the two or add them, and when we do that they need to give us 6, which is the b term. So 8 minus 2 is a 6, but 8 plus 2 is not 6, it's equals to 10, and 10 is not part of our equation. 4 minus 4 is 0, 4 plus 4 is 8, 16 minus 1, 15, 16 plus 1 and is 17. So we're not going to be using any of those. We have identified 8 and 2 to be the factors that are suitable to use, and there they are being circled right there. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to now take our factors and put them into our brackets, and then proceed to identify which signs we should use inside the brackets. Remember that those two tests that we have done don't give us which signs to put before our factors. After putting in our 8 and 2, we put it there, 8 and 2, and notice that we don't have the signs there. So that's that will be the next step. Of course, we'll have to identify which signs we're going to be using. Okay, and the rule for that is that the product of the factors should give us a sign similar to the term c. So that negative, that's a negative. So when we multiply out 8 and 2, it needs to give us negative 16. So we will see that minus 8 times 2 equals to 16. Negative 2 times 8 equals to minus 16 as well. So to be fair, if any of the terms is negative, the product will always be negative. So we know that now one of the factors have to be negative and one of them has to be positive. Okay, so we proceed to check which one should be positive and which one should be negative. And there you will see that 8 minus 2 gives us a positive 6, and that is not a positive 6 there. So that negative 16 over there, you can see we achieve it when we multiplied negative 8 times 2, and that pair there, positive 2 and negative 8, gives us minus 6, and that is that negative 6 right there. Okay, so now we know we're going to be using a positive 2 and a negative 8. So we go ahead and insert those signs right there. Okay, and what we do, the next step is we equate both of our equations, those both to 0, like that, and we add or subtract both sides with the same number. That means what we're going to be doing is we say x minus 8 plus 8 to give us 0 equals to 0 plus 8. So what we do on the left hand side, we also do on the right hand side. And then we just go ahead and simplify those two signs, and that is the minus 8 plus 8 is 0, plus 2 minus 2 gives us 0, and we have our answers. X equals to 8 or x equals to 2. And that's how you're gonna be writing out your answer. Of course, you will not be doing all that on your paper. You're going to simply write out your factors, and that's where 1 mark is. Remember, this is for 3 marks, and then you just separate the two and then give your answers. I promise that we will be showing how we can do that with our calculator quickly. Right, so we can use our quadratic equation. All you have to do is we have to identify which one is our A, which one is our B, which one is our C, okay, in the standard form, and that's just taken from there. And you can see that is the quadratic equation there. This is given at the back of your question paper. So there, our one is our A is 1, our B is minus 6, our C is minus 16. So what we're going to be doing is simply enter our values into the quadratic equation. So that's the negative that comes with the side with the equation, and we put out our B value, which is negative 6, okay, in brackets, and then we choose between those plus or minus, we just choose one first. We can start with the negative, and then we put out our square root sign, and of course our B value again, which is a minus 6 squared. We square that, minus 4, and we put in our A, substitute our A value, that is 1, and we substitute our C value, which is negative 16. Remember to take the signs. You take the signs and not just put in the values, and that's 2 times positive 1. Positive 1. Then you just say equal sign, and that gives you negative 2. Okay, and that is how you substituted everything. Just move your cursor there using your signs and just change that sign. Remember, it says plus or minus, so if you started with negative, you're gonna have to come and change it to a positive, and then there's your 8 over there. And that's how we get those two answers. Remember to write out your answers, your factors when you have used this method. You need to show that you are able to factorize. So all you have to do after it gives you the values, what you do is you open your brackets, you put your x's there, and then you just change the sign. If it's a positive, the final answer is a positive 8, you put into the brackets a negative 8. If your final answer is a negative number, then in the brackets you put a positive number. That is the lesson for today, and writing out your answer will be like that. If you choose to use the calculator to quickly find your answers, remember, always write it in this form and then put your factors. And class is dismissed. Thank you for joining me. This has been Visual Ed. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to get new videos.